Enrolled at San Diego State University in their music department, in their music program. But my parents weren't going to give me any money for college because they weren't really, well, they didn't feel that was appropriate. So I didn't have any books. I was going to college because I marched in the band. They paid the tuition, but I didn't have any money for books. My parents weren't going to provide any money for books, so I wasn't doing really good. And so I decided, well, I better bail. So I dropped out of college and joined the Army in December. I figured, well, then I'll have enough money for college because the Army had that GI Bill thing. So I went to the Army and spent 3 years in Frankfurt, Germany, in the Army band over there. And then when I came back, I enrolled in college again. I thought, now I got money for college. And I went there for 2 semesters and got a 3.5 grade point average. But I wasn't really happy. I kind of missed the Army. And then I was watching all my friends that stayed. They didn't join the Army. They stayed in the program. They were graduating with their bachelor's degrees in music. And they were getting, the kind of jobs they were getting, I didn't really want that. And the things they were doing, I didn't really want that. And they weren't really playing for a living. I was like, I wanted to play for a living because I thought I was good enough. So I went back in the Army. I dropped out again after 2 semesters. And so I went to Fort Ord, California, and then Panama. I went to Panama, and then New York City, Georgia. And then I went to El Paso, Texas, and from there they sent me to just south of here, Fort Knox, and then they sent me to Korea, and then I retired. And so then I went back to college. But I went to college at Sullivan University. And while I was going to Sullivan University, I was working at TARC, because TARC was paying part of my tuition. It's called a tuition reimbursement program. Most big corporations have that now. They'll pay like 60–70% of your tuition because they got a vested interest in their employees becoming college educated. And that's what TARC was doing with me. So I was getting the GI Bill, and I was getting the TARC tuition reimbursement. So I was making about $200 a month to go to college, over and above what they were giving me. You know, they were giving me all that after I paid the tuition and the books and the parking fees and all of that, lab fees. I still had $200 left over. So I was making money going to college. I did that for 8 years. I went to night school for 8 years and got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in business administration. And that qualified me to take the praxis exam. That's what teachers got to take to be a teacher. I passed my praxis exam for business 5 through 12 and math 5 through 9. So I was a certified teacher. Oh, but then I had to find a job. I mean, just because you got the certificate doesn't mean they're going to hire you. And I started out subbing in Hardin County because there were no openings in Jefferson County where my wife worked. And then around February 2007, an opening popped up at Stewart Middle School for math teacher. One of the ladies there, she retired, medical retirement. She went crazy. So I jumped in there February 12th and I started teaching. Now what I didn't tell you was as soon as I got out of the Army back in '97, for 3 months I taught at Shawnee High School. I was on an emergency teaching certificate because I didn't have any college to speak of. So I taught band and chorus for 3 months at Shawnee from January through April of 2007. And that's what really got me the idea that, hey, I want to do this for a living. Because like, you know, being in an Army band for 20 years, I was just, you know, just playing for a living. Initially that was cool. It was like there's history, there's tradition, there's meaning and purpose. But after about 10 years it felt kind of sophomoric, and I saw my wife getting a lot of meaning and purpose in her life as a teacher. And it made me decide, that's what I want to be when I grow up. Part of it was the Troops to Teachers program. They helped me become a teacher financially. So, and it was because I'd spent 20 years in the Army that I was allowed to use that alternative certification program. And so what it is, it's an extension of my service to the nation. I'm still serving our country, but now I'm here in this school trying to teach you guys how to do algebra, okay? And that's my story.
Grants, Pell Grants, anything possible, you can do that through academics. I didn't know that. So you don't necessarily have to get a scholarship or a grant by playing sports. You can do it with academics. So, if you do that, you have the opportunity to go to a great college, do so. I was telling you, your scores from your K-prep, middle, high, elementary. They help kind of feed you into those good schools so you be more marketable when you get out of school. That's the whole idea and the concept. And how well you do as my students, by the time I get to retire, you'll be working and your income is going to be the driving force of your economy. You know that. So that's why I want you to do well. And also I told you I'm happy. So I want all my kids in school. Alright? So it's important to be able to focus, get your grades, do well, so you can get those attentions to the colleges and the universities and the schools. Because you're not just going to go and get your BA. You're like, oh yeah, I'm done. I got my BA. Yeah. No, you have to go get a master's. You have to get a doctorate. And you can go beyond. That's what I did. That's what I wanted to do for my children, so they can have a better life, better childhood, and be more successful than I am. Okay? So please, 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 take advantage. Everybody in here has the opportunity to go to college. Everybody has the potential. Everybody's smart. They see it. You just need to apply yourself. Focus. Do your job. So how many of us are going to college? Everybody's hands gotta go up. Everybody.
College hand up.
Because you have college courses in the Army. Where's your hand?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right, go cards. Hell yeah.
You went to U of L?
L1C4.
Using Miss Q.
I went to U of L, L1C4.
All right, well, my name is Stephanie Barrett, and I'm an instructor 3 here at Kammerer Middle School. I did not have a job in college while I was in school. When I came home on breaks, I would work at a restaurant, but other than that, I didn't have a job while I was in school. I received a lot of financial aid just from filling out the FAFSA, and I also received a full academic scholarship to make up for any other funding to Lindsey Wilson College. That's where I went, in Columbia, Kentucky. Well, I first heard about Lindsey Wilson College when I was accepted into the Governor Scholar Program in high school, and they sent me some information, and whenever I found out that I could have a full academic scholarship, that's definitely where I wanted to go. My sophomore year of college, I joined the Bonner Scholar Program, and what that is, it's an organization that's centered on getting college students involved in volunteering and nonprofit organizations. And so I did that my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And through that program, I became an AmeriCorps volunteer. So over the course of those 3 years, I completed 1,600 hours of community service, and I was able to go on service trips to places like New York and New Orleans, St. Augustine, Florida, and other places like that. So it was a really good experience. I guess the only regret that I have is maybe not reading as much as I should have read, because I feel like I would be way smarter now. Like maybe completing the assignment to the fullest.
I actually did have a job in college. My second or third year, I actually got a job with a department store. And it was, I went back 2 or 3 times because I really needed that extra money. I actually cleaned parking lots, dumped their trash, cleaned out their dressing rooms, moved furniture, delivered furniture, whatever they needed me to do, and I was always available whenever they needed me. I had a great relationship with them, and actually worked the last 2 years at the college for that department store, which really helped me out. Actually, the school I went to in Tennessee, Kammerer College, is a Division III school, NCAA. It's a lot like Center College. So I had to have really good grades and test scores to get in, and it was really just a financial aid package is what I got. It was based on my parents' income, so a lot of what I did was work study program, financial aid, and also paying for school by having a job outside school. Well, the school that I was looking for at the time, I was living in Miami, Florida, where I grew up as a kid. I really didn't want to stay in the state. I wanted to go away because I wanted to play college football. And I was an average football player, so I went to a real small school and visited the school down in Tennessee my senior year. The school is actually located in the Smoky Mountains, and when I went for the visit, I fell in love with it. So that's really why I chose that particular campus down in East Tennessee. I was involved with intramurals. I was involved in a fraternity. I was also involved with intramural softball and things like that besides playing college football. And I also boxed, Golden Gloves, and AAU for 2 years in college during the off season. The fraternity that I was in was actually sort of a secret fraternity because they weren't allowed on campus. But the fraternity that I was associated with had been around the school since probably 1921. And at the time when they inducted me, I didn't realize that it existed, but it was a great society of young men over the years who provided support for each other, both financial, emotional, and we got together and had really good times. And to this day, they're all still my fraternity brothers, guys that I went to school with, and we still stay in contact. My sophomore year, my money ran out. This was my sophomore year. It was probably August. I was starting my sophomore year there, getting ready to play some football. I was at practice. The school wouldn't give me any more money, my financial aid. I was $3,000 short. So I was packing my bags to go back to Miami on a Greyhound bus. And the very next morning before I left, the football team, the guys that I played with, had gone around and collected over $3,000 from every football player to keep me at that school. And if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have my college degree.